Hello, my dear second PUC students. Welcome to the virtual class. I'm dealing with chapter 13, Organisms and Population, session 3. Let me share the screen and start today's class. Dear students, in my previous class, I started with this topic with the introduction, different types of biomes. And I also explained you the 4 important abiotic factors, and we studied in detail from the examination point of view. Today, we are going to study another important part for your examination, responses to abiotic factors. So, before I start this session, get ready with your book. To start up with today, responses to abiotic factors. During the course of evolution, many organisms have evolved homeostasis. Homeostasis was a very important term when it was a state syllabus. Homeostasis, if you remember, last year's syllabus, Animal Kingdom, chapter 4. To be precise, in that class Pisces, fishes, we came across word poikilotherms, and then birds and mammals we came across a word homeotherms. The word homeo, same meaning here also. Homeo refers to constant. Stasis means condition. What? Constant condition. Yenodu. Constant condition. The process of maintaining constant internal environment. What is this internal environment? When we speak about internal environment, the first thing that goes to our mind is what? Temperature. As stressed and said last year itself, humans will be having 37 degrees centigrade, constant temperature, no matter what the ambient temperature is. For example, outside temperature is 18, our body temperature will be 37 degree only. That's why we were called as homeotherms. The same concept you can apply. Homeotherms and poikilotherms was restricted only to temperature. Now here homeostasis means internal environment. What is this internal environment? It can be water concentration in your body. For example, assume your cell is having 80% of water. It should be 80% of water only, even if it is summer or winter. And for example, glucose level in your blood, it should be within that normal range only, 80 to 120 for a normal person. If it is less or more, once again, it is not a normal condition. So, not only the temperature, water concentration, salt concentration, everything should be maintained in a constant condition, then only the organisms can survive successfully. If not, they have to do some adjustment or adaptations. That's what during the course of evolution, many organisms have developed homeostasis. That's what they're saying. So today the organisms, if they're surviving successfully on Earth, after so many millions of years of evolution, means they have passed the examination that was kept by evolution. Okay, so they are surviving today also. So the internal environment should be constant. Then only the organisms can successfully tolerate and thrive the abiotic factors what we discussed in our previous session. Homeostasis permits all biochemical reactions and physiological functions to proceed with maximal efficiency, and thus it gives us overall fitness. That's what I said. If our body condition is normal, if our body is successful in keeping things constant, then it provides us overall fitness so that we can successfully live, interacting with the abiotic factors. Yeah, example I said optimal temperature and osmotic concentration. That's what water concentration in our body, temperature in our body. So that has to be maintained constant. So those two examples they have mentioned. On this earth, now there are 4 different types of groups of organisms or category of animals which interact with these abiotic factors to make their life successful, to live successfully on the earth. And they respond. That's what 2 terms I have given. 4 types of responses or 4 types of animals based on how they maintain their homeostasis. They have to maintain, or else the animal will die. Animal includes even humans also. So now we will see what are the 4 types, and then we'll go in detail to study one by one. Regulators also we can call them. Conform, third one migrate, and fourth one suspend. So these 4 terms are very important from the examination point of view for objective questions. I'll move to the next slide. You can pause and take a screenshot, and we'll study each one in detail now according to the textbook. Regulate. These organisms, homeostasis is maintained by physiological and behavioral methods to ensure a constant body temperature. Thermoregulation they will do, and osmoregulation also do. All birds and mammals, as I said, birds and mammals have the maximum capability of adjusting to these abiotic factors, and only few vertebrates and invertebrates also. In most of this invertebrate, I think arthropoda has made the maximum adjustment to successfully survive and thrive on the different parts of habitat of earth. Now regulate, I'll give you an example. These organisms can regulate. I'll give you only one example. Temperature we will take, because that is easy for you. For example, you are sitting in your room now, and you are feeling too much of hotness, heat, maybe summer, and you started sweating. So what you will do, you will go and switch on the fan. We'll consider only fan, no AC, nothing, to understand the concept easily. You will switch on the fan and you will turn that regulator knob to the maximum. Fan speed will increase. And after some time, assume after half an hour or 1 hour, you start feeling slightly cold. Then what you will do, you will try to go to the same knob and try to reduce the speed. And if at all you are feeling too much of cold, what you will do, you will go and off it. Right? In regulator only you can on and off also by turning this side and that side. See, that's what our body is also made like that only. We can regulate. See, the temperature outside is something 45 degree, our body maintains 37 degree. Our temperature outside, the ambient temperature is 18 degree, inside it is 37 degree. So no matter the external ambient temperature goes on fluctuating, we are capable of regulating our body temperature. So you can take for osmotic, means water concentration, salt, anything you take, our body is capable of taking care of those things. So these organisms are called as regulators. The second one is conform. Conform, for example, means like 5 kilotherms you can take. Temperature only I am giving you another example. For example, the external temperature is 18 degree. Their body temperature also will be 18 degree. If the external body temperature is 25 degree, the ambient temperature, their body temperature also will be 25 degree. So they go on conforming to the temperature what is at their immediate, which is next to their body, or the ambient temperature. Got it? So that's why they are called as conformers. A constant internal environment cannot be maintained. That's what important. It cannot be maintained. Most of the animals and nearly all the plants cannot maintain the temperature. The body temperature changes with the ambient temperature. That's what I said. Nimma sutta nammala animals, plants suttamutta yava body temperature. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈಚ್ ಕಡೆ 18 ಇದ್ರೆ 18, ಈಚ್ ಕಡೆ 25 ಇದೆ 25, ಆ ತರ. So this is one of the important definition, I believe, a question from model question paper. There is a change in osmotic concentration of body fluids of aquatic animals with ambient water or osmotic concentration. Such animals are called as osmoconformers. I'll tell you, you take example of fish. Osmoconformers. Osmo means water, you keep in mind. Conformers. If the salt concentration in the water is something like 8%, the body also will take 8% only. 25%, 25%. So it goes on adjusting to the water's salt concentration. The internal environment also goes on changing according to that, like temperature. So such organisms are called as osmoconformers. Now thermoregulation word is here. Thermoregulation. Thermo means temperature. Regulating the temperature is regulating the body temperature, not the external. Regulating the internal body temperature is energy expensive process. Energy expensive in the sense your body should spend energy. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಲೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ. ಸೊ ಥರ್ಮೋರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ easy in most of the animals except birds and mammals. That's what. So to maintain the body temperature, our body should spend too much of energy. Heat loss or heat gain is a function of surface area. For example, what happens during winter, we generate too much of heat, and during summer we go on losing too much of heat. Energy gain, energy lose. So this is what thermoregulation. So it has to be done. Energy gain and energy loss should be going on to maintain the body temperature homeostasis, constant. Understood? And hence small animals are not found in polar region. Yeah, for example, you assume there is a small rat in polar region. Hence its body will be exposed to cold. All the temperature means all the heat will dissipate into the ambient environment and finally it dies. Simple small example you can do at home. If you are having two metal balls, a big metal ball, for example, assume this is a very big metal ball and this is a small metal ball. If we heat it for 100 degree, 100 degree ಗೆ heat ಮಾಡ್ದು ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, heat ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು room temperature ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡಿ, and assume the room temperature is 22 degree. Which one will lose the heat first? The smaller one, right? And the bigger one also will lose heat, but not in that speed compared to the smaller one. So ಚಿಕ್ಕದು first heat lose ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ, ದೊಡ್ಡದು heat ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Understood? So that's why smaller mammals or animals are not mostly found in the polar region. And the third type of animals that respond are migrate. See, before getting into migrate, I want to show you this graph. Can you see this one regulator graph, which is in red? See, external level, we will assume now this this graph has temperature matra. You can take it for osmoregulation like water, salt concentration, etc. We will assume only for temperature. External level temperature we will take, and internal temperature we will take. Okay, and we will take like 10 degree, 20 degree, 30, 40, 50, somewhat like that. So internal body temperature, if you see here, here we will assume this is 10 degree, 20 degree, and 30. So here it is 37 now. We will assume humans are regulators, birds are regulators. See, as the temperature goes on increasing, 50, 60, something like that, our internal body temperature red line is straight, horizontal to that. It is constant. At the same time, you see conformers, second one, the green color one, this one, as the temperature is going on increasing, even their body temperature also is going on increasing. That's why they are called as conformers. If it is in water, we call them as osmoconformers. Got it? Now for the third, migrate, and next one, fourth one, suspend, they are not represented in the graph in our textbook. So we are not mentioning that one, but this graph is actually a 2-mark question. Only the graph is a 2-mark question. I'll move to the migrate one. Migrate means, general English meaning only, moving from one place to another place. Now this migrate is totally different. Here migrate means two things should come to biologist's mind. That is, one is migration in fishes, and the best example what everybody can see is migration in birds. Birds from different region, cold region, okay, cold region, they migrate crossing many seas, samudra dati oceans, okay, they cross ocean and they come to different place just to escape the cold and come here. They breed, they lay egg, they incubate, they hatch out, and they, after the conditions are favorable, they go back to the same place. They come from there because it is an unfavorable condition. Extreme cold will be there. they cannot survive, and finally they fly and come towards some other country, crossing a huge distance, and finally they come, breed, lay egg, hatch, and once again, once along with their young ones, once they are capable of flight, they go back to the same place. So birds and fishes show the best migration to study. Okay, so now these organisms move away temporarily. That's a temporary movement from the stressful habitat. That's what, from the unfavorable condition. Now stressful habitat ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So they move to a favorable area and return when there is a favorable condition back. So they have given an example in a textbook, Kealadu National Park of Bharatpur in Rajasthan. Many Siberian birds will come from northern parts of the globe, northern part of the earth. In the Siberian birds, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಭರತ್ಪುರ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನಲ್ಲಿರೋ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. See, these are the Siberian rare cranes. I just took the photograph to show you. So they come from Siberia to Rajasthan's national park. These birds, they are very rare to see. And fourth one is suspend. Now, what is this suspend? For example, a simple example I'll give you. One of your classmates is not behaving properly due to some discipline problem or something like that. Assume I'm suspending him from the class for 1 week. I'll just complain to principal. Principal will ask, call his parents and tell that particular register number boy, will take girl also, no problem. He's suspended for 1 week. What does that mean? That particular individual who is under suspension cannot act as a student in this particular college for a week. But he can be a son, he can be a brother, he can go to market, he can go to church, he can go to mosque, he can go to temple, whatever it is. But in this condition, in our college condition, he is suspended for 1 week. He is no more a student and is not an active student for that week. For that suspended boy or girl, this 1 week is unfavorable condition. And after that 1 week of suspension, the favorable condition comes again. So he can come, he or she can come, he can act as a normal student. That is what suspend. So in bacteria, fungi and lower plants, various kinds of thick-walled spores. In bacteria, the suspended form is spores. Spores means something they will become round, dry, a hard sand-like. For example, assume water is drained in that pond. They become hard, brownish, sand-like. And they will remain like that only. Adhe tara ulkombidtave. Until that pond, for example, rain or the pond gets water back, they remain in that suspended condition. So that suspended condition in bacteria is called as spores. Okay? And once the favorable condition returns, they become normal. You can take a screenshot. I'll move to the next slide now. This is what I said, the rare cranes from Siberia. We are studying still suspend only. So in suspend, we studied first one, the spores in bacteria. Now to study in higher plants, seeds and some vegetative reproductive structures serve as mean to tide over periods of stress. For example, you take any tree's seed, yaudara plant udilla maradu seeds na assume ಮಾಡಿ. What is a seed? Seed is a mode of reproduction. The seed should fall on soil, it should germinate, and the plant should multiply. That is what the nature rule is. Assume from a tree, seeds fell, and 70% of the seeds are on a rock. Bande mele bidire adu chigrodilla. You know that it will not germinate, and only few are fallen on the soil, but the soil is fully dry, no water is there. These seeds will not germinate, but they will be under suspension only, or you can take those seeds and you can keep it in a bottle. Right? So unless the seeds are in the bottle, that is an unfavorable condition. Assume you are putting the seeds on a soil and rain comes and the moisture is there, that is the favorable condition. Now that particular seed will germinate. That is the favorable condition. Understood? And another type of suspension now is dormancy. Dormancy is also, there is a mechanism achieved by reducing their metabolic activity, going in a state of turn. So stopping all the metabolic activities. What is metabolic activities? The reactions, the chemical reactions that are occurring in a living organism. It can be plant, animal, or anything. Living organism. Those chemical reactions or metabolism will be paused. Means it will be on a hold until the favorable condition comes. So this dormancy we can use it for seeds. And this is common for you, hibernation. Due to excess of cold, some animals will go for winter sleep. They get into some burrows and they will not come until the condition is favorable. They will not go into that caves or something simply like that. They will come to know that they will be undergoing through this winter sleep. They eat nicely. Their body gets enriched with fats. Fats will be the stored energy in their body, and they go into the caves, for example, bears, and they remain suspended. So hibernation during winter to prevent extreme cold, example bear, and estivation. These are the two terms, very, very important, hibernation and estivation. Hibernation means winter sleep and estivation means summer sleep. Fishes and snail. I have collected a few pictures to show you. We'll see that. See, you can see a bear here in this first one. The bear, it is schematically represented now. See, assume here, this is the polar bear. Here, it is fully covered with ice and all. It has made a cave-like structure, crevices, okay, burrow, and it is resting there, and it is suspended. It is not showing any it is not showing any physical activities. It goes into winter sleep. Okay, this is an example for what? Hibernation. On the right side, you can see snail, Shankadula, Basunula. During summer, they require actually moisture to survive. Malegala, during rainy season and all, you can see too many of them. But when summer comes, they die off due to dehydration. So what happens? They enter into a stage called as hibernation. So this you can see one more, mudfish. If you are from rural side, you will be knowing this one. This will survive under slightly moist soil also. Not in water, in moist soil. So this and this, okay, this fish and this snail are example for estivation, and bear is an example for hibernation. No diagrams are required, just I am showing you. And the last one, if you see, there is a condition called as diapause. Diapause is a suspended stage that we come across in zooplanktons. What are zooplanktons? The microscopic organisms found, organisms in the sense the microscopic animals found in water are called as zooplanktons. These are the zooplanktons. Most of them are microscopic. Some may be visible, but to see their detailed characters and morphology, you need to have a magnifying lens or a compound microscope. Understood? So these are the zooplanktons, different types of zooplanktons. Their suspended stage is called as what? Diapause. So these are very, very important. The slide which is there in front of you is very, very important from the examination point of view. You can pause and take a screenshot. I'll move to the next slide. An important part in this topic. Adaptation. Adaptation means what? Adaptation means adjusting. Hondukondu hogodu. Not for a temporary moment, but for lifelong. Adaptation definition is very important. Again, it's any attribute of the organism. The adaptation can be morphological, means body shape change alla madಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, physiological inside body reactions, behavioral. We'll see example for each of them that enables the animal to survive or the plant to survive and reproduce in its habitat. In this adaptation, the first example that we are going to study is kangaroo rat. I've collected the image here, kangaroo rat. If at all there is practical, you are going to see this photograph again and you are going to draw the diagram. So it is found mostly in North American deserts, almost in deserts, and it is filled by its internal oxidation. What is filled? Water. It is known that kangaroo rat won't drink water only. Kangaroo rat ನೀರೇ ಕುಡಿಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀರು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? How does it fulfill? How the body gets fulfilled with the water requirement? Two reasons are there. Whatever the metabolic reactions happens in the body, that is internal oxidation, that releases water. Metabolism ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ವಾಟರ್ ನ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಎನಫ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಟು ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ರೀಜನ್ ವೇರ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಫೋರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ ವಾಟರ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಅದರ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಟಿಂಗ್, ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ರೆಕ್ಟಮ್, ವೆನ್ ದ ಫೀಕಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಕಮ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ದ ರೆಕ್ಟಮ್, ದೇರ್ reabsorption of water from the fecal matter happens. ಆ ಫೀಕಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಇಂದ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಾಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅನ್ನೋದು ರೀಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೀಟರಿ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್, ಅದರದ್ದು ಫೀಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ತರ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಪೆಲ್ಲೆಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್. ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್, ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ರೈಸ್ ನೌ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ತುಂಬಾ ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಲ್ಲು ತರ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಟೋನಿ ಟೈಪ್. No water content will be there. So by this two mechanism, one is through internal oxidation and the second one is reabsorption of water in the rectum region, will fulfill the water requirement in kangaroo rat. Diagram is not required. You can take a screenshot of this screen. Now this is very important now. Actually, this is second point. It is given as 3 now. This one, second point, very important from the examination point of view. This point, mammals living in colder climate generally have shorter ears and limbs to minimize heat loss. The question is twisted and asked, why the mammals in colder regions have small ears and limbs? To minimize heat loss. To minimize heat loss. We will assume, before getting into the example, we will assume ourselves. See, during winter, we shrink and sleep. We shrink and we bring the limbs, kai irbodu, kaal irbodu, both hands and leg, towards the chest region. And we sleep comfortably because we try to prevent the loss of heat from our body. But at the same time, assume yourself in summer, we try to spread out our hands and sleep, spread out our hands and legs so that we give more surface area for the heat to dissipate outside the body. Right? And during winter, you see the street dogs. They will be sleeping and they try to protect their face and other limbs closer to the chest. Right? So these humans and dogs, forget, we are in normal region, normal place, and we will get cold during only December or January, something like that. But the animals, not animals, that is very, very important. I wanted to tell. Most of the students mention it as animal. We are speaking about only mammals. I believe everybody know what is a mammal now. Mammals living in colder climate generally have shorter ears and limbs to minimize heat loss. This is called as Allen's rule. An example is there. You can see hair. It is a rabbit alive hair anta heltare. See the limbs of this hair, which is towards grassland or desert type of habitat. See the limbs so long. Illalla ventilation agutte. When the limbs are long like camel and all, the body surface area gets exposed to the ambient temperature and there will be loss of heat. It has to lose heat because it is in an arid condition. But at the same time, you see this hare, same genus but different species. This is found towards the polar region. You can see the ear is small, the limbs are small, and even the limbs are tall also, and it is protected by thick fur, so that heat loss is prevented. This is Allen's rule. Take a screenshot. Now the third one, the number is mistakenly typed wrong. In polar areas, aquatic mammals like seal, what I studied in my degree class was whale. Okay, whale is not mentioned. They have a thick layer of fat called as blubber below their skin that acts as an insulator, very important. Nima flask. Okay, flask. When you put cold items or hot items, that the thing which is there inside the flask will not interact with the ambient temperature, isn't it? So this will act as an insulator. Similarly, beneath the skin of this whale or this seal, there is a layer of fat. Okay, and that type of blubber or a fat layer, even we find in pork. Pork in the sense pig meat also it is found. But we are not seeing pig in that polar regions. But just to remind you, even that is also having a fat layer. So here you can see a seal is there, a schematic representation of seal. This yellow color structure you can see entire body, this one. Like this, okay? Yellow color structure is there, no? That is the thick fat layer. So what is its important function is the heat which is there inside, it cannot go outside. Here it will be extreme cold. Here the temperature will be 37 to 45 degrees, something like that, because it is a mammal, maybe more than that, because heat will be continuously generating, and outside it will be cold. The cold temperature cannot penetrate inside the body, and the heat will not dissipate outside. This thick layer of blubber will protect the animal. Got it? Now we will just try to understand. We studied 3 examples, right? Now, first one, if you see, in kangaroo rat, internal oxidation and reabsorption of water was happening. So what type of adaptation it is? It is physiological. Body ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಡೆಯೋ reaction ಇಂದ control ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. It was surviving due to the physiological adaptation. Now when we see this hare ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, rabbit ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ, that's also wrong. If you see this hare, what we saw, the body morphology is changed. So this is a morphological adaptation, and now you see here, it is having a thick layer of fat. This is also a morphological adaptation. Now, fourth one, desert lizards. Lizards ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರೀ ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರ್ತದೆ. When we speak about lizards, the main thing that comes to your mind is the geckos or the house lizards. What is there? Varanus, Uda ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದು monitor lizard. They all are called as lizards only. So the desert lizards which are there in desert areas, they bask. What is bask? Bask is nothing but exposing the body surface to sunlight. Even humans, we do whenever there is in colder climatic regions on the globe, people go with minimal dress near the beach and they try to expose the body to sunlight. Right? Similarly, basking means what? Exposing the body surface to the sunlight and to absorb the heat. You can see this picture now. Desert lizard shows behavioral adaptations. Now we spoke about physiological adaptation in kangaroo rat. We saw morphological adaptation in hare and seal. But here you see this lizard, it will go and exposes its body and it will absorb maximum heat. And once the excess of heat it feels, it comes under the shade. You can see in the second image. Okay, now to survive in the desert, it has to undergo through this behavioral adaptation. If not, the animal will die due to excess of what? Dehydration or excess of absorption of heat or something like that. Now, even in our case also, you can assume when we are sitting in a playground and watching some sports, if it is too much of sunlight, what we will do? We will try to search for a shade or under a tree. That is a behavioral adaptation to escape that sun heat, right? So that is bask in case of desert lizard. And now, fifth one, if you see burrowing, burrowing andre ooದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಊದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಲ್ಲ, ಊದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, going under the soil, making small cave like burrows only. I don't know the exact word in Kannada. They make suranga tara, okay? They make burrow. And why do I go under burrows? Because mainly to escape the heat, escape the ground heat. I have collected another image. You can see these are all lizards only. You can see the burrow here also. You can see here. You can see one more type of lizard, a reptile coming out of a burrow. So this is once again a behavioral adaptation to escape the ground heat and to live successfully. If not, they will die. And the last one, what they have said is the people who are surviving in higher altitudes. For example, higher altitudes means what? I'll just show you a picture. I don't have a picture, I'll just draw. If this region is Mysore, if this is Ooty, assume Himalayas is not there, it is something like Himalayas. So people are found in Mysore here, Ooty here, and Himalayas here. The people living in higher altitudes, ಎತ್ತರದ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋರು, if we take 1 ml of our blood and 1 ml of their blood, and if we count the RBC, more number of RBC will be present in the people living in higher altitude. If more number of RBCs are there, means what will be there inside the RBC cell? No nucleus, but it will be having hemoglobin. What is the function of hemoglobin? It is a respiratory pigment. It transports oxygen. So there will be a higher count of RBC and total hemoglobin, and also the living capacity of the people in higher altitude is more compared to the people who are living in the lower altitude. My dear students, and there is one more question from the examination point of view. That is another concept called as altitude sickness. Altitude means height, ettara. So you can see the definition there, it's on your screen now. It is a condition where the person has fear from high altitude places. ಆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಎತ್ತರವಾದ ಪ್ರದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಭಯ ತರ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ altitude sickness. So this is mainly caused due to low atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ this will be the main cause. And the body will not get the sufficient amount of oxygen. ಅವನ ದೇಹಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಈ altitude sickness ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. Symptoms of that is nausea, vomiting sensation, fatigue, getting tired, ಸುಸ್ತಾಗೋದು, heart palpitations, skipping of heartbeats, increase of heartbeat, okay, but not a normal heartbeat, okay. So these are the symptoms. So this was a very important 3 marks question and a concept regarding altitude sickness. And one more 3 mark question. What are the mechanism by which human body will compensate low oxygen availability at higher altitude? Higher altitudes ಅಲ್ಲಿ human body ಅದನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗೆ compensate ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ 3 points are there. Our body will increase the production of RBC, red blood cells. RBC ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So RBC ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ there will be more hemoglobin. So if there is more hemoglobin means it can fix with oxygen, isn't it? So our body will increase the number of RBC than compared to the normal. And the second one is by decreasing the binding affinity, fixing capability of hemoglobin. And the third one is by increasing the breathing rate. Keep one thing in mind, it is not increasing the heartbeat, It is increasing the breathing rate so that more exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen can occur between lungs and the atmosphere. So this is a very important slide for you, dear students. So you can pause at this moment and take a screenshot. Okay, then I'm signing off from today's session 3, chapter 13, organisms and population. Take care, study well.